everyone and welcome to my video lecture. Today we are going to start with the last part of this chapter, which is called as the lymphatic system. Okay. Yesterday we had completed with granulocytes. We had also studied about thrombocytes and we had studied about blood clotting. Correct. So let us start with the last part, which is called as lymphatic system. Now this lymphatic system, it is not given in much detail, so I will be explaining some extra parts. It will be important for most of the NEET students, okay, and also for your 12th standard board students. So let us start with the part which is called as the lymphatic system. Okay, so now this lymphatic system is included inside the circulatory system. You can say that this system is parallel to the circulatory system, okay, and both of them are responsible for exchange of materials. I will show you how. So there are many different parts of the lymphatic system. For example, the liquid which is present or the fluid which is present is called as the lymph, Lymph. Okay, just like in the circulatory system, the fluid is blood. Similarly, in the lymphatic system, the fluid is called as lymph. Then, just like there are blood capillaries, similarly in the lymphatic system, there are lymphatic capillaries. Then, just like there are blood vessels, there are lymphatic vessels also. So, all these parts have been given in your book, but they have not been explained. Also, they have shown you many diagrams, but the problem is if it is not explained, then it becomes difficult to understand. Then there are other parts also. There are the two most important vessels of the lymphatic system. They are called as lymphatic ducts. Okay, so lymphatic ducts. And also there are regions in the lymphatic system which are called as lymph nodes. So all these are basically part of your lymphatic system. It is not difficult to understand, it is very simple. And please remember, this lymphatic system runs parallel to the circulatory system in your body. Okay, so coming to the first part of the lymphatic system, lymph. Now the meaning of the word lymph means clear fluid. Okay, something which is water like, something which is very clear. Now this lymph which is present, this lymph composition is very similar to the composition of blood. There are only some minor changes. So in lymph, RBCs are absent, erythrocytes are absent, so it is not red in color. Blood is red in color because of erythrocytes. The second thing is platelets are absent, thrombocytes are absent, and third is most of the proteins, you can talk about the plasma proteins, they are also absent in lymph. So you can say that lymph is basically blood minus RBCs, platelets and proteins. This is clear. So basically leukocytes are present in the lymph fluid. Okay, so that is about the lymph. It is also called as lymphatic fluid, same thing. Now let us study how this lymph works, how it is transported, what is the function. So I am going to draw a diagram. Okay, so in that diagram I will explain all these different parts. So I will just rub this off. Okay, now what the lymph does, or what the lymphatic system does, is it basically collects all the material from the intercellular space. Now what is intercellular space? So now I am going to draw a tissue. Okay, so just imagine these are all the cells which are present. Okay, and all these cells are together forming what? All these cells are forming a tissue. Alright, so these are all the cells and these are the nuclei of the cells. So any tissue you can draw. Alright, so these are the cells of the tissue. Okay, now this space which is present between the cells, this space is called as intercellular space. Very simple. Space between two or more cells in a tissue is called intercellular space. So I can say that this empty space is intercellular space, or it is also called as interstitial space. I have already explained you this. I have explained you this part when I taught you open circulatory system and closed circulatory system. So this space between the cells in a tissue is called intercellular space, or it is also called as interstitial space, and this space is filled with, it is basically filled with interstitial liquid or interstitial fluid. Do you remember that? Interstitial fluid, and interstitial fluid is also called as lymph. So now how is that lymph present? So lymphatic capillaries are present. Okay, I am going to use a green colored marker for lymphatic capillaries. So these capillaries are like this. Okay, I should not be actually touching the cell. Okay, and this is the cell over here. So this is one lymphatic capillary. So what happens is, this capillary is also made up of endothelium, that is single layer of cells, squamous epithelium. Just like capillaries of the circulatory system, the capillaries of the lymphatic system are also made up of single layer of cells. Why? So that exchange of materials is possible. So now what happens is, these cells, they basically give away their waste products, okay, in this interstitial space, and from the interstitial space those waste products go diffuse into the lymphatic capillary. Okay, so this lymphatic capillary is basically collecting all the waste matter from these cells. The cells are releasing the waste matter in the interstitial space. Is this clear? Now why is this material going inside the capillaries? Because of diffusion. So what is diffusion? Transport of solutes from higher concentration to lower concentration. So they will diffuse, correct? And what will happen is, these solutes will then move upwards. So this is just one capillary. Similarly, there are many other branches of a lymphatic capillary. Okay, so just imagine that these are three different capillaries, and all of them are surrounded by what? All of them are surrounded by cells. So are you getting this? Basically, you have got the tissue, and inside the tissue you have got these lymphatic capillaries which are present. Now the difference between lymphatic capillaries and blood capillaries is that blood capillaries are open at both ends. Do you remember? If I want to draw blood capillary, I will show one end which is coming from the artery side, okay, and the other end of the capillary is going to open into the vein, and this in between is your blood capillary. So you know this. So the blood capillary is basically open from both the ends, but if you look at the lymphatic capillary is closed at one end. Okay, please remember this, it is always closed at one end. So that is one of the differences between blood capillary and lymphatic capillary. ऐसे नहीं है कि बहुत सारे lymphatic vessels मिला के capillary बनाएंगे, नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. So please remember, at one end the lymphatic capillaries are closed, they are open only towards the other end. Okay, so this lymphatic capillary, this lymphatic capillary, this lymphatic capillaries will meet together over here, and what they will form is, they will form a bigger part which will be called as the lymphatic vessel. Now you are getting the point. Okay, see here, arteries break down to form arterioles, arterioles break down to form blood capillaries. Blood capillaries join to form venules, and they join to form vein. Here, lymphatic capillaries, most of the lymphatic capillaries join, and together they form a bigger structure which is called as the lymphatic vessel. So I will write it down over here. This is the lymphatic vessel, whereas this is lymphatic capillary. Similarly, this is lymphatic capillary. Similarly, this is lymphatic capillary. Are you understanding this? So always remember, the lymphatic capillaries, they open into a common vessel called as lymphatic vessel. So see, what is going to happen is, all the wastes are going to be collected, they will go over here. Similarly, wastes will go over here and wastes will come over here, and together all the waste will travel to the vessel. Okay, so similar type of movement is occurring. Capillaries will carry the blood to the venules, venules will carry the blood to the vein. But please remember, there is no bidirectional opening. There is only one unidirectional opening, that is in the direction of the flow. Is this clear? And how does this waste material enter the capillaries? By diffusion. Obviously, there are fenestrae or pores which are present through which the diffuse substances can enter. Otherwise, you will ask me, if this is closed, how do they enter? Just the same way how materials enter in a capillary, small pores or fenestrae are present. Is this clear? Now, what happens is, many such lymphatic vessels. So this is one group of capillaries and one vessel. Similarly, there will be another group of lymphatic capillaries, another vessels. So there will be many vessels. So now just imagine this is one vessel. Okay, I should have used the green color. So this is lymphatic vessel number 1. There is another lymphatic vessel coming from here, which is number 2. There is another lymphatic vessel coming from here, which is 3. So all the vessels join together and they form a bigger structure, and that structure is called as the lymphatic duct. Are you getting this? So I hope you are getting the hierarchy or the order of arrangement. Smallest are lymphatic capillaries, they join to form lymphatic vessels. Many lymphatic vessels join together and form the lymphatic duct. And there are two main lymphatic ducts in your body, two main. Okay, just like if I ask you which is the main vein and which is the main artery in your body, you will say aorta is the main artery and the vena cavas are the main veins. Similarly, there are two important lymphatic ducts which are present in your body. I will tell you about that, but I hope you have understood everything up till now. Okay, so you are ready? Now, here I have not drawn blood capillaries. So what happens is, the blood capillaries are also present in the tissue. So just imagine that this is a capillary which is passing by. So what happens is, the waste materials which are passing in these lymphatic capillaries, okay, so basically what happens is, these blood capillaries are also in very close proximity. बहुत ही नजदीक है ये lymphatic capillaries है. So if this is a blood capillary, what will happen is that the waste material from the lymphatic capillary will be transported to the blood capillary, again by diffusion, because concentration of waste is higher over here, lesser over here. So waste आपके lymph में से जा रहा है blood में, and all that capillaries will finally join into the vein. So vein will get all the waste material. Are you getting this? So whatever carbon dioxide is released by these cells, first they will enter the lymphatic fluid. From the lymphatic fluid, some of it will go here, some of it will get diffused in the blood capillaries. So blood capillaries are also getting. Anyway, what happens is, finally ये जो आपके lymphatic duct है, वो अब भी आपके veins के अंदर ही open होते हैं. Okay, so finally all the waste material is going to go into the circulatory system only, but some of the transport also occurs at capillary level. So if you want, I will draw over here. This is blood capillary. Okay. So are you understanding? These are two parallel systems, circulatory system, lymphatic system, both are working together. Lymphatic system में fluid है lymph, इसके अंदर fluid है blood. Similarly, if the blood is carrying oxygen, the oxygen will diffuse from the capillary from the blood capillary into the lymphatic capillary, and from the lymphatic capillary it will diffuse into the interstitial space and into the cell. So there is bidirectional transport, दोनों साइड से हो रहा है. जो चीजें important नहीं है, they will be taken by the lymphatic capillaries and sent to the duct, or they will be sent to the capillaries and into the vein. Things which are important, they will be taken from the capillaries into the lymphatic capillaries and into the interstitial space and the cells. So basically your lymph is joining the capillaries, the blood capillaries and the cells. Okay, so whenever I say that oxygen is going from the blood capillaries to the cell, who is helping in that? The lymphatic system. Up till now we had not studied about this. Now you know about the circulatory system, then it is easier to understand. Is this clear? Anyway, This lymphatic duct finally goes and attaches to one of the veins, and all the waste material will drain into the vein. Is this clear? So what is the function of the lymphatic system? It is basically connecting your circulatory system and the cells, and it is helping in transport of materials, exchange of materials, both important materials and waste materials. Clear? Okay. Now I had told you about something which is called as lymph node. Okay, I had written a word. Now what happens is, when these vessels are present, in between there are areas which are having a lot of swelling. So what I am going to do is, I am going to just rub this part off. Okay. Now this is one lymphatic vessel, correct? So what happens is, there are areas where the lymphatic vessel gets swollen up, as a swelling. And these areas are called as lymph nodes. So what is the function of lymph nodes? Now these lymph nodes are basically filtration units. See, the liquid or fluid, the lymph which is passing, it is carrying all the waste materials. Just imagine if there is a bacterial or viral infection, then all the dead bacteria and viruses will also be present, because they are also waste material. So all those harmful substances or unnecessary substances they are passing. So these areas occur in between called as lymph nodes, which are full of macrophages. Now macrophages, you know. What are macrophages? Macrophages are basically monocytes, and they are phagocytic. So they will eat away. So the macrophages are present over here. All these macrophages are present. So what happens is, as soon as this lymph passes through this lymph node, all the harmful materials are eaten by this macrophages. Are you getting it? So वो filtration unit की तरह हो रहा है. If lymph nodes were not present, just imagine all those harmful things will be drained into the vein. Vein के अंदर आप सिर्फ unused materials या जो required नहीं है वो drain कर रहे हो, but bacteria and viruses you are not draining into the vein. So bacteria, viruses and all those harmful organisms, they are basically eaten up or they are discarded by macrophages. Macrophages are present in lymph nodes. So that is why sometimes during an infection what happens, lymph nodes ना यहाँ पे inflammation हो जाता है, तो ये और भी swell हो जाता है. So they become 3 or 4 times bigger than their original size. And these are very very circular. तो आपको पता है, for example if there is infection over here and inflammation होता है ना lymph node का, तो इधर ऐसे एक circular spherical object form होता है. कभी कभी इधर होता है, कभी कभी इधर होता है. Most probably they are formed under your arms. So if you have a lymphatic infection, that means there are too many bacteria over here in the lymph nodes, and the macrophages are trying to finish them, and because of that inflammation and swelling है. So those lymph nodes ना you can actually feel. आपके पूरे body में जहाँ पे lymphatic system है वहाँ पे बीच बीच में lymph nodes है. So all those lymph nodes they will get swollen, and you can actually feel ऐसे छोटे balls जैसे feel होते हैं, इधर होते हैं, इधर होते हैं, then under your arms. So all those are basically your lymph nodes getting swollen. So lymph nodes का function क्या है? Filtration unit. Then once this filtration does, then again the vessel will continue. Very very simple. So basically it is like a filtration plant which is fitted. Why? Because the lymphatic system is carrying all the wastes. So it is better, okay, to keep a filtration unit. Again the vessels will go, then vessels will join and form the lymphatic duct. I have already told you that. Now I hope everything that I have taught up till now is clear. Now let us go to the next part, which is lymphatic duct. So we have studied lymphatic fluid or lymph, lymphatic capillaries which join to form lymphatic vessels, then lymph nodes which are present, which are filtration units. They have macrophages. All this is very important for NEET students. It is not given in your HSC book, so please pay attention. Then many vessels will go and form nodes. Sorry, they will go and form ducts, and there are 2 main lymphatic ducts in your body. We will study about that. So what happens is, the 2 important lymphatic ducts are this side, which is the left side. There is a duct called as the thoracic duct, or it is also called as the left lymphatic duct. On the right side is the right lymphatic duct. So I will just write down over here, okay. On to the left side, so I will write on this side, there is the thoracic duct, which is also called as the left lymphatic duct. What is a lymphatic duct? All the lymphatic vessels combine together to form the lymphatic duct. So सबसे बड़ा जो ट्यूब है lymph का वो lymphatic duct है. Smallest are capillaries, they join to form vessels, vessels join to form ducts. And two of the most important ducts are thoracic duct, which is left lymphatic duct, and the other is the right lymphatic duct. Now right lymphatic duct को दूसरा कोई नाम नहीं दिया, जैसे इसको thoracic duct. Now what is the function? Just remember, very easy, the thoracic duct basically collects lymph from more than 75% of your body. So if suppose if I draw a human being like this, okay, this is head, this is neck, this is body, these are arms, and these are the legs. Okay, now this will be very easy to identify. तो ये लेफ्ट लिम्फेटिक डक्ट कहां से लिम्फ कलेक्ट कर रहा है? इतने एरिया में से, जितना एरिया में शेड कर रहा हूं. सो लेफ्ट साइड ऑफ द हेड, लेफ्ट साइड ऑफ द नेक, लेफ्ट साइड ऑफ द चेस्ट, योर लेफ्ट आर्म. इट इज नॉट फिनिश्ड येट, it will go up till here. So all these parts which I have shaded, these parts will basically send lymph to the left lymphatic duct or the thoracic duct. So you can see almost 75% of your body, the lymphatic vessels are sending the lymphatic fluid to the left lymphatic duct. So left lymphatic duct इधर रहता है, वो lymph ये सब areas में से connect करता है. तो लेफ्ट साइड में से तो कनेक्ट करता ही है बॉडी के, लेकिन राइट साइड बिलो द चेस्ट आल्सो ऑल द एरियाज इट गेट्स द लिम्फ फ्रॉम देयर. योर राइट लिम्फेटिक डक्ट बेसिकली कलेक्ट्स लिम्फेटिक फ्लूइड फ्रॉम दिस ब्लू शेडेड एरिया. सो राइट साइड ऑफ द हेड, राइट साइड ऑफ द नेक, राइट चेस्ट एंड राइट आर्म, दैट इज इट. इज दिस क्लियर? So you have to remember that the thoracic duct is the most important lymphatic duct and second important is the right lymphatic duct. Is this clear? Okay. So you can see almost 75 to 80% of the lymph goes to the thoracic duct or the left lymphatic duct. The right lymphatic duct gets only a very small portion of the lymph. Okay. So ये याद रखना है. Also remember left lymphatic duct is commonly called thoracic duct. This word is not used. Is this clear? ये क्लियर है. सो आपका ये साइड वाला जो लिम्फेटिक डक्ट है वो मोस्ट ऑफ द लिम्फ कैरी कर रहा है. राइट साइड वाला लिम्फेटिक डक्ट इज कैरिंग लिम्फ ओनली फ्रॉम दिस एरियाज. सो इफ यू वांट आई विल सेंड यू अनदर इमेज. ओके, सो दिस इज अ वेरी easy image to remember. If you want I will write down over here lymph collected and going to thoracic duct, and thoracic duct finally sends everything into the vein. Okay, so that is not an issue. ये सब कलेक्ट करके वो वेन में ही भेजेगा. Here blue I will write lymph collected and going to the right lymphatic duct, and that is only this much area. Done. So with that we have finished with the lymphatic system. So I have explained what lymph is, I have explained what lymphatic capillaries are, what lymphatic vessels are, what lymph nodes are, and the lymphatic ducts also I have explained. Okay, the left lymphatic duct, the thoracic duct, drains lymph from almost 80% of the body, and the right lymphatic duct drains lymph from the remaining part of the body. Okay, and finally the ducts drain the waste materials into the vein. Also at the capillary level there is exchange between lymphatic capillaries and blood capillaries. So that ends this part on lymphatic system. It ends the entire chapter of your respiration and circulatory system. Okay, so if you have any doubts please let me know. Okay, and thanks for watching.